Hello everyone. In this video we have a functional equation. Now we are given f of 4x minus 3 divided by 5 plus x being equal to x squared, and then the question says what is f of x equal to. So now let's look at how to solve this question. Now first of all, so one mistake in solving this question is by equating what is on the left hand side to that of the right hand side. So something like you have 4x minus 3 here divided by 5 plus x here being equal to x squared, and then with something like this you just cross multiply because it's over 1. So cross multiply, you have 4x minus 3 being equal to x squared divided by 5 plus x here, and then doing further simplification we have this to be 5x squared plus s cube. Right now, grouping items, we have this to be, so you have s cube, so you can have s cube, then we have plus 5s squared. Sending this to this side, you have plus 4x, and then plus 3 being equal to 0. And then you realize that you have a quadratic equation or a polynomial, then you have to solve this. But then solving this kind of equation, there's an easy way to solve this. I'm going to take you through that easy step. So what we are going to do first is that we are going to first of all set what is on the left hand side to a certain variable. So let's say let y here equals, you have 4x minus 3 over 5 plus x. So realize that going through this step is, you can go through the steps and then you can just get the values, but then going through this step will be a bit complicated, and then I wouldn't advise you to go through that step. So let's get rid of that. Now let y equals to 4x minus 3 divided by 5 plus x. So with something like this we can then go ahead and then from here we further simplify. So cross multiplying, we have y here multiplied by 5 plus x here equals 4s minus 3. So we have 5y plus xy being equal to 4s minus 3, making s the subject because we set y equals to that. So making s the subject, from here we have so let's group items. We have xy here, sending this to the side we have minus 4x, and then let's send this to the other side, so we can have negative outside here. Then we have 5y plus 3. Right now from here, x outside, we have y minus 4 here being equal to minus 5y plus 3, and then from here we have s to be equal to 5y plus 3 divided by y minus 4. Remember there is negative here, so by replacing so let's multiply through by negative so that we can have a very normal equation. So everything becomes, I'm just multiplying negative through, so this place become positive 4 minus y. Right now from here we have what the value of s is, and then we know what the value of y is. Right, we have the equation for s and the equation for y. Now from the general equation over here, we said that f of s of this is equal to that, and then remember we set y equals to that. So why don't we set this whole thing here equals y? Right, so setting the whole thing there equals y becomes f of y is equal to s squared. Now what is x? S is basically this. So in order for us to get s squared, it's just by squaring that. Right, so let's go ahead and do that. So now the whole thing becomes f of y equals remember s is just 5y plus 3 divided by 4 minus y. So what we are going to do is to square that. Now when we square that, we have this to be f of y here being equal to the square of that, so it becomes multiplying this, so we have something like 25y squared. We have plus, it becomes 15 and 15, which becomes down 30. Right, it becomes 30y, and then plus 9. Right, and then the down one to expanding that, we have this to be 4 times 4, 16 minus, it becomes minus 4y minus 4y becomes minus 8y, then plus y squared. So let's simplify this. So for the numerator we still have this, and then for the denominator we have something like y squared minus 8y plus 16. Good, so we can see that both the numerator and the denominator has a quadratic equation on on both sides, right? Now, the question is, how do we get f of s? Now, for us to get f of s, we have f of y being equal to that. So, for us to get f of s, what we have to do is to just replace y with the x as we see over here, just replacing y with x. So, we have x, f of s being equal to everywhere you see y, you just replace by x. So, 25s squared plus 30x plus 9 being divided by s squared minus 8s plus 16, right? And that becomes f of s. Now let's take note of something over here. You realize that by solving for y, realize that as we solve for f of y over here, we are actually finding the inverse of the function, right? So you realize that when we equated y equals to that, and then we solved everything, and then we find this, we realize that we are finding the inverse of a function, right? So if we are finding for the inverse of a function, then this means that, now this implies that if you have f of s, right, and we said, I remember we said our f of s here, we are equating everything to y, right, and that is what we actually replaced over here. Now if f of s equals to y, then which means that the inverse of y here is basically equal to x in this case, because as we solved and then we equated y equals to that, and then we solved everything to find what s is, you realize that we are finding the inverse of a function, right? And then from here we replace the f of y by f of s. Now this implies that f of s equals to y, and then the inverse of y here equals to s in this case. Now if that is the case, then we can then go ahead and say that from here our f of s here equals to that. But then how was I able to determine that? Now look at it. Remember the equation at f of s, 4s minus 3, right, divided by 5 plus x. That was the general equation, right? And then we equated all of this thing to y, right? Now to find the inverse of a function, so let's say you have f of s, let's say equals to a certain variable. Let's say we have ax plus b divided by cs plus d in this case, right? Now how do we find the inverse of this function? Now to find the inverse of s over here is basically by replacing this d here with a here with d. So, but then you give it some negative. That is basically the identity of the inverse of a function. So it becomes negative dx in this case, and then you maintain your plus b. Then in this case, what you do, you maintain your um cx here plus whatever you have over here. Also the d over here comes to also replace the a, but then it becomes negative a. Now that is how to find the inverse of a particular function. Now if this is how to find the inverse of a function, then which means that from what we had, remember f of s, so in this case f of y is basically equal to f of, what is y? Y is just 4x here minus 3 divided by 5 plus x, right? So that is f of that. Now what is the inverse of y? The inverse of y here will just be so let's say inverse of y, because this is basically equal to y, right? So inverse of y here will be equal to, comparing this to this identity and also this identity, you realize that in this case we have a to be 4, and then we have b to be minus 3, we have c to be the one with the x, c to be 1 x, and then d to be 5 in this case. So now let's look at f of y. So in this case f of y, let me write it here, our f of y, which is the inverse of y, right, will be equal to, now it becomes minus dx. Now d is this, so it becomes minus 5x, right, and then it becomes plus b, so we have b to be minus already here, divided by cx. What is c? C is 1, and then so we have just x, and then minus a is 4, so minus 4 here, and then our so in this case we are writing in terms of y, so our f of y here is just equal to multiplying through by negative, we have this to be 5x plus 3 divided by 4 minus y. So let's write y in this case. Now what is this function over here? Now this function is equivalent to what we see over here, right? F of y here is equivalent to the value of x over here. So if that is the case, then which means that our f of y that we got over here is the same as f of s over here, but just this time we are just what, squaring it, right, in this case. So therefore we can conclude that f of s here is basically equal to 25s squared plus 30x here plus 9 divided by s squared minus 8s plus 16, right? So that will be the function f of s. So thank you very much for watching this video. I hope this video was helpful. If you are new here, please like, subscribe, and also hit the notification bell to be notified anytime we post a new video. Thank you very much, and I'll see you guys in the next video.